Perfectionism is not your friend. It is not going to get the thing out. It is not going to get you closer to the goal. It is only going to hinder you because nothing is perfect. And so in order to move the ball forward and get where it is you're trying to go, done is better than perfect. What's up, bosses? Welcome back. This is the CEO Mindset Podcast, and today I'm sharing with you 3 lessons that I have learned. And I'm telling you these lessons now because it is the 4th quarter, and that means that we need to be on our game for holiday season promotions, as well as starting to think about what we want to do at the top of the year. Now, I typically tell my clients to get on this in September. Towards the end of September is when we start talking about it, because it's important to get some idea of what it is we're going to be doing for the holiday season in terms of promotions, if there are going to be any. But if there aren't going to be any, then definitely we want to look at what we want to do differently in the new year, how we want to pivot or reposition ourselves if that's what we want to do, or if there are some changes that we just want to make. Maybe there are some things that we know we can do better, we can improve upon. So I really talk to them about making some of those adjustments, or at least starting to get those ideas jotted down somewhere so that we can work on them at a specific time before, the beginning of the year. So let me just share with you these 3 lessons that I learned, and hopefully they will help you in preparing for the holiday season or just preparing for your new year. The first one is done is better than perfect. You've heard me talk about this multiple times on the podcast because I learned this lesson a couple of years ago. It was an important one for me to learn because I felt like perfectionism was really grabbing a hold. It had a chokehold on me. I wouldn't do the things that needed to be done because I felt like every little step had to be perfect. So here I want you to really realize that perfectionism is not your friend. It is not going to get the thing out. It is not going to get you closer to the goal. It is only going to hinder you because nothing is perfect. And so in order to move the ball forward and get where it is you're trying to go, done is better than perfect. Now, this doesn't mean that you put out, shoddy content or you just do something for the sake of doing something. Things still need to be thought through. But if the podcast isn't the longest, or if you don't have, if the quality on the video isn't the greatest on that particular take and you don't have time to do another one, it'll be fine for that first one. The content is what's important. What you're saying is what's most important. Or if, whatever the thing is, done is just better than perfect. It's just really important for you to get that, because we will spend so much time working on something to make it so perfect, and it won't ever be that way. We can twiddle and piddle and tinker around with things until the end of time, honestly, and it still won't be perfect, especially if you're comparing yourself to other people. You can't do what other people are doing because you're not them. You don't have the same skin in the game. So it's just best to do the best you possibly can and go ahead and put it out there. Don't wait. Don't keep trying to make it better and better and better. Just get it where it is. People can understand what you're doing and saying, and the information that you are trying to convey is being conveyed, and just get it out there. Just don't wait. Now, the next lesson I learned is that details are important and necessary. Oh my gosh. I don't like details, y'all. I am a high-level thinker. I look from above. I can see where all the pieces go on the board. I am a strategist. I can tell you how to get where. What I don't like is getting down in the weeds, dotting I's, crossing T's. I can't tell you. I have really... Last year, I was trying to do something and I really messed up because I was not paying attention to the details. And so I missed an opportunity. So now I've gotten much better at paying attention to details, reading things through multiple times, doing all the things necessary to make sure that I am understanding with a fine-tooth comb what needs to be understood. But details are extremely important. When you are doing business, when you are in the corporate world, whatever it is you're doing, make sure you are reading fine print. Make sure you are asking the right questions, asking the hard questions. Make sure you are doing your due diligence, because if you don't, things can be overlooked and you can miss opportunities. So get down in those weeds and clear them out and dot your I's and cross your T's, because you don't want to find yourself in a situation, especially in the new year or even during the holiday season. Let's say your sales funnel isn't right because you didn't do your due diligence. You didn't get down in the details. Well, you can lose leads. People can fall between the cracks. of your sales funnel. You can lose sales because a link may not be working, or because, you didn't have it set up appropriately. So make sure that you're paying close attention to those details so that you don't miss opportunities. Get down in those weeds. And then lastly, the biggest thing is, I think, the lesson that I've learned, and I've learned this one over time as well, and that is that people are people, so you can just be you. Stop trying to manage other people. Stop trying to, understand what people are thinking, why they're thinking it, what they're doing, manage their reactions. Stop trying to do that, because people are going to be themselves, and the only person you can control is you. This was a big one for me at the top of the year. Well, at the end of last year, I had to tell someone I refused to be a part of the negativity anymore. And so coming into the new year, that was a hard line that I had drawn for this person. And it hasn't been hard for me to maintain it. Maybe it hasn't been hard for me anyway. It might be hard for the person. But drawing a hard line in the sand was important. And because I had to manage myself, I had to control me. I had to make sure that I was taking care of myself. And in putting up boundaries and making people understand what those boundaries are, and then setting the expectations, has helped my mental health. And we all know that it is very hard sometimes to maintain a positive mental health state when you are dealing with negativity, negative people. So recognizing that people are going to be people and you can just be you, accepting you for who you are, is a big deal, because sometimes we are down on ourselves because people tell us that we should be a certain way, or they tell us that we are a certain way, or they tell us what we can't do and what we can do, and we start to believe it if we hear it enough times. And so the truth of the matter is that once you do the work to understand who you truly are and understand what you truly need to be the best version of yourself, then you can ignore honestly, people who are telling you differently, because you will know the truth about yourself, and therefore you can manage yourself accordingly, and you can manage the expectations of other people. You can teach people how to treat you so that they are respecting your boundaries and your time and your energy, and you no longer have to put up with some of the things that happen along the way. So yeah, these are just 3 lessons that I've learned that I felt that I should share with you, because in learning these lessons, like done is better than perfect. How does that apply to the new year, to preparing for the new year? Well, you have to get yourself into a state of mind where you realize that you are bringing a certain level of value to the table, and the value isn't going to change if something goes wrong in the implementation of the value or the distribution of the value. The value is still the value. And so if whatever you are trying to do, whether it's distribute a podcast or distribute a YouTube channel video or distribute a blog, if you're writing it and there's a typo in your content, or if you say a word wrong, or if there's something going on in the background that you don't necessarily want going on in the background, don't let that deter you from putting a piece of content out, because what you're saying, the value is there. And if it's just the one video, it's not going to hinder you too badly. So don't feel like you have to go through all of these changes to do something different. You can put it out there, done, you got it done, you got the value out that you wanted to get out. Yes, there might be a dog running across the floor or something, or, there might be a small noise that you hear in the video. That's okay. People understand that you live, like you're living. Like if you are recording or doing something from your home office, then it's just common that you're going to run into some of these days where people end up in your video that aren't supposed to be, or animals end up in your video that aren't supposed to be. But done is better than perfect. But on the other hand, depending on what it is you're doing, details matter. So if you are working on contracts, if you are doing anything with someone else and you are determining how the work is going to be distributed, that is important. Reading the fine print, understanding your role, making sure that you know what the scope of work is. These things are important because people will try to scope creep. They will try to tell you that you're supposed to do something when you're not supposed to do something. So doing the due diligence to understand what is important and what is not, getting down in those weeds and clearing them out, dotting I's, crossing T's, that is going to be important as well. So again, done is better than perfect, but also details are important. Details are very important. I learned this lesson, like I said, the hard way. And so I am really, really focusing on reading all the fine print. When I'm writing out RFP proposals, I'm reading the RFP diligently, and that's request for proposal if you didn't know. I am reading it fine tooth comb with highlighter and pencil, like a pen, just making sure that I understand what is required so that I can make sure I'm giving it to them and that my contract will be, or that my proposal will be considered. So that's important as well, is understanding that details are important and you definitely need to get down in those weeds. It doesn't matter if you're a high level thinker like I am, it's important to get down in the weeds and make sure that you are checking out those details. And then when it comes to these people, the people being people, if you want to eliminate a lot of your stress and overwhelm, stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop worrying about what other people are doing. Stop thinking that you're not enough because you think someone else is better. If you're bringing value to the table, you are just as good as the next person because the way you're bringing that is unique to you. Just get that right. Just make it unique to you and be confident in that uniqueness and you'll be fine. You don't have to do things exactly the way other people do them as long as the way you're doing them is bringing value to the people watching. Okay? So listen, I hope that this short podcast episode is going to be helpful to you. I hope that my lessons are going to help you prepare for the future, for the new year, for any holiday campaigns that you might be doing. Get the things out there. Take your time, obviously. Do your best job, but recognize that done is better than perfect. Get those details in check. Make sure that you know what is supposed to be going on and you've crossed all your T's and dotted all of your I's. And then don't look to your left or to your right at other people or what other people are doing. Know that you're enough and that all you have to do is be yourself. Okay, now that I've shared the 3 lessons that I've learned over time, I think it's an opportunity for you to use these lessons in getting or gaining those amazing opportunities for yourself. So I've got some tips here that I also want to share with you in this next video about getting those dream opportunities. So make sure you check that video out next, okay? All right, that does it. I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode, The CEO Mindset, constantly evolving and being open to failing forward. And I'll see you again next week. Bye.